Hi everyone, I am Dipali Kulshresht, working as Senior Salesforce Consultant at Cloud Analogy. I am very much active on various social media channels where you can contact me or can follow me directly. So here is my LinkedIn ID, my Gmail account, my Twitter, phone number and my website. So, first of all, I would like to thank every one of you for attending today's webinar on Translation Workbench. So, we have Garima with us as a speaker for today, who is also a part of Cloud Analogy family. So, before proceeding ahead, I would like, if you find this webinar interesting, then please like and subscribe our YouTube channel.
Thank you so much, Dipali, for introducing me. Let us move forward with the webinar topic of the day, that is Translation Workbench. Let's start with the agenda. Today we will focus on these points: overview of Translation Workbench, multi-language setting, translators and override translations, consideration for Translation Workbench, and after that I will show you working of Translation Workbench practically, and then we will proceed with QA round. Let us first understand what Translation Workbench is. So, Salesforce out-of-the-box translations is available only for standard components like tabs, objects, fields, etc. For custom fields, we need to use the Translation Workbench and specify translated labels for each of the languages that we want to support. In other words, the Translation Workbench lets you specify languages you want to translate, assign translators to languages, create translations for customization you have made to your Salesforce organization, and override labels and translations for managed packages. Everything from custom picklist value to custom fields can be translated so your global users can use all of the Salesforce in their language. So now what is multi-language setting and how we can enable this? So Translation Workbench is not available for single language orgs. Okay, the multi-language setting has been enabled to use this feature. Salesforce support multi-languages in three levels. First, fully supported language. Second, end-user language. And third one is platform-only language. So what these languages are? So first of all, fully support languages. For fully supported languages, translations are available out of the box for standard objects and fields, setup menu and help articles. End user language. For end user languages, Salesforce provides translated labels for all standard objects and pages, except administrator pages, setup, and helps. Now, the third one is platform only language. For platform only languages, there is no out of box translations, but you can translate items such as custom fields, custom labels, picklist values, etc. Standard objects and fields can be renamed but not translated. Now, what is translators and override translations? So, as you can see, we will use translators and translated language to add supported languages, activate or deactivate a language, assign translators for that language, and enter translated terms for customization you have made in R or by default. Okay, we can translate only certain components. For example, we can translate actions, custom fields, data categories, flows, lookup filters, record type, etc. We can override translations for custom objects in namespace, unlock packages, and second generation managed packages. For example, override the label on a custom field or a workflow task. Also, We can't override translations for standard objects in packages. Now we have to take care of something at the time of using Translation Workbench. So what these considerations are. Translators are responsible for keeping the translated term updated. When translated components change, the translated value is marked out of date. For example, you have changed the custom field name of a translated value. When you go into the Translation Workbench and view the field column, it will still show the translation for the old field value, and the checkbox in the out of date column is selected. When you change a flow that you have translated, Salesforce copies as much as information it can when you save changes to the translated version, create a version, or save a new flow. To make the translation workbench most effective, administrators should follow three main points. Firstly, let translators know which language they are responsible for translating. Second, notify all the translators when new translated components are added to your organization. Third, advise users when customizing reports or list views to use filter criteria value in their personal language. Now, let me show you how we can enable multi-language and set up translation workbench for our org. So, first of all, I will show you how to enable multi-language setting. First, you need to log in as Salesforce admin and click on setup. As I'm already in setup, so I don't need to go anywhere. So, then type language in quick find box. Click on language setting. Now, you need to enable end user language and platform only languages. After that, you need to select the language in which you want to apply the changes. Let me remove all the language. I am selecting from for French. Now click on save. After enabling multi-language setting, you need to enable translations. So for enabling translation, you need to enter for translation setting in quick find box. Click for translation setting. So now you are on welcome page of Translation Workbench. You just need to click on this enable button to enable the translation setting. Just click on enable. Now you have enabled the Translation Workbench. Okay. Now you need to add the language. So click on this add button. Select the language. You can select just like I'm selecting for Spanish. Now you need to select an user. I want to select for myself as an admin. Now click on save. You can see here I have already selected our language French. I just need to activate it. So click on the active and save. So we have added two languages, one for French and one for Spanish. After enabling translations, you need to specify translated terms. So for that, we need to follow this process. Type translation in the quick find box and here you see translate. Click on that. So now you specify the translated term and translated words for custom fields, whatever you want. Let's translate a field. So for that we need to select a language, custom field. and our object. This is language, this is component and object. Okay. Now first create a custom field for an account in which we perform this action. So I'm going to create a field, and what was the field name? Brief. Click on new. Let's create a text type field. Click on next. B-R-I-E, brief. Length 252. Click on next. Click on save. Okay, so now I have created the field, brief field on account. So we will use a translated term for this field. Click on setter. In quick find box, write for translation. Click on translate. Now choose the language. So I'm selecting French. Select a component. We will choose custom field and the object is account. Now this is the brief field. You just need to double click on the field label translation and type the translated term of brief. In French, we will write brief. Okay. Now just click on save. Now to see the changes for the user you have logged in. Well, you can see this change to any user whose language is French. But for now, check with the user I have logged in. Click on the icon, this icon, and then click on setting. Click on the language and change the language to French. Okay. Now hit on save. Now when you go to the account, uh, let's create an account first. Yes. Click on save. Sorry. Let's change the language to English first and do the follow. Do the changes. Select the English. Click on save. Now let's create a record with account. Let's suppose account name is test and the brief. Okay, this is also a test ABC. Click on save. Now you can see the field brief. Now let's change the language setting to French and now hit on save. Go to the account, click a record, check the details. Now you can see the term is translated to the French in BREV. So brief is translated to BR, brief means BREVE. Okay, so we can do this thing for custom fields, let me show you. Let's firstly change the language to English again. Now go to the setup, write translation, select the translate. So here you can see setup components. For these components, you can use the translated terms. You can use action, address, country, field set, field filter, flow, record types, and so on. Now let's have a QA round. I think I have described all the topics of Translation Workbench. So is there anyone who want to ask a question?
Hi, my name is Shubham. Are there any limitation of translation that can be stored in? And is it possible to get the translation for multiple languages in one single session?
Thanks, Subham, for asking the question. Basically, Translation Workbench will hold all the translations you need for any number of objects, fields, picklist values, and so on that you might need it. You can only have one translation per language. You can only get the organization's default value and the values for the session current language. Conceptually, you could set the language for the user, retrieve the values you need, switch the user's language via update call, and repeat. But this is fairly time consuming. Alternately, you could build a metadata API tool to catch the translation on client side, then ignore using two-label function in favor of performing client side translations. But that's also time consuming and delays in translations.
My name is Kushal. Can we also translate the picklist values of a field?
Hi Kushak, thanks for asking the question. Yes, you can translate the picklist values. Let me show you with a new user. So I'm creating a user. So I'm using standard user profile and also adding standard username. In email, I'm adding my email. So user license is Salesforce and I'm using standard user profile for that. Now click on save. So I have created a new user, standard user. Uh, for this user, I will show you how we can translate a picklist value. Okay, first I will create a picklist field in a account object. This is so I'm creating picklist value field, which name is picklist is a field type. I'm giving the decision, the name of the field, and using the values as a yes and no. Okay, click on next. Now click on next again. Click on save. So I have created the decision picklist value whose values are yes and no. Now I will translate these picklist value yes and no For that we need to go to the setup, enter translate in quick find box, select for translate. Now I'm converting the term into French, so I'm using the language French here. Now in setup component, you need to select for picklist values. This one. Now the object which is account. So this is the field decision for which we need to change the picklist value terms. So these are the values no and yes. Okay, now we are going to change these terms in French. For that we need to double click on this field picklist value label translation. Click double click on that. For no we will write NON, and for yes we will write OUI. These are the terms of no and yes in French. Then you just need to hit on save. Now we have done our work. Now we need to check this picklist value if they are working or not. So for that we will check for our user. We have created a standard user. So we will check for this standard user. Just give your admin to the login access for that user. Go to login access policies and just enable this option. Now hit on save. Again go to the user. Here login as standard user. Now I am in my standard user. Okay, so first of all, now you can see all the terms are in English language. When I go into an account record, now the decision, it is also in English, and the picklist value is also in English. Same. First we will create a new record in account for simplicity. Account name, write test account. It's for testing purpose. Leave other fields blank and use years for decision. Click on save. Now we will go to the setting and change the user language to French. Language and time zone. Change the language from English to French. Now hit on save. Now go to the account. This is our account in French. Click on the record. This is the record I have just created. Click on the details. Now this is my this is an pick list whose values are showing OUI in place of yes and NON for no. Okay, so so yes, we can change the picklist values or we can translate the picklist values. So now if you create a new record, then also these values will show in French. Let me show you. Create new, write a name, test 1. Now this is a decision whose values are converted OUI for yes and NON for no. So I think I have cleared your point. So yes, you can translate picklist values as well. So I hope you like this webinar. Thank you.